Hey guys, and today we're going to be talking about the advantages of not running an HPA line. Whether that is a Polar Star, a Wolverine, a gas blowback rifle that you HPA tapped, or a gas pistol that you HPA tapped. Um, the advantages, there are several of them that I can go over, and I decided to make this because right here, as you can see, I am using it's a mixture of Echo 1 and Tokimori MP5, and it's one of the first guns I've used in quite a while, personally, besides the sniper rifle, but that doesn't really count, in quite a while, that is not tethered to some sort of line coming from my back. The first advantage that I'm going to say is you're not going to have as much weight on your back. Yes, they do have the carbon fiber tanks. Yes, they do have the small aluminum tanks. And they do have some bigger ones. But sometimes just that little bit of weight can make quite a bit of difference. Whether you believe it or not, the little bit of weight can just put on a big, slightly more strain on your back over hours of just keeping it on. And if you don't have a counterweight to balance everything out, it can get a little bit unbalanced, and it can slightly get a little bit uncomfortable. Another advantage, which is obvious, is you're not tethered to a line. You don't have to worry about these tighter spaces where your line might get snagged on if it's just not properly put on. Stuff like that. You just don't have to worry about stuff like that, or a teammate coming by with his gun or some part of his equipment snagging onto your line, maybe pulling your expensive Polar Star or something else, just out, or ripping your line or something like that. You also don't have to worry about running out of air. Yes, you have batteries to worry about in AEGs like this one. And yes, you have to, if you're running gas, yes, you have to worry about running out of green gas during a game or something like that. But that isn't as big of a deal as fields like this field, where there are no fill-up stations. And yes, it stinks not to have a fill-up station, but they are expensive and not every field can have one. So if you run out of air while you're at one of those fields where they don't have a fill-up station and there's no fill-up stations nearby, or or all the fill-up stations nearby are closed for that day, stuff like that. And even if they are open, it just takes out of time because you have to get back in your car, you have to go drive and refill up your tanks and stuff like that, and it can get a little bit exhausting, just having to go through the motions of filling up the gas, filling up your air, going back, driving around. But if they have a fill-up station there, that's not as big of a deal. So I wouldn't put that, as a huge, oh no, I'm going to run out of air. Because you can be like, oh no, I'm going to run out of battery if you forgot to charge overnight or something like that. Or, oh no, I forgot to run out of gas in my gas gun. But most of the time, as far as batteries go, the fields will have a couple charging stations set up for your batteries, so I wouldn't worry too much about that. Another advantage is you kind of don't have this stigma with the field, if I'm saying it correctly. A lot of the people who run HPA lines, especially Polar Star users, have this bad rep. It's kind of bad publicity, and I know not everybody out in the Airsoft community is like that. There's a ton of really nice, good players that that run Polar Stars, but they don't, but they're not jerks about just running their Polar Star. They don't go around, shooting a mile a minute and just hosing people down. But a lot of people that see, or a lot of people that don't run HPA lines, when they see your average person that has an HPA line coming out from their Polar Star or something like that, they tend to have a little bit. They, they tend to just just look at them differently, and sometimes not always in a good way. Um, I don't think that's like a huge problem as far as that goes, but it can be a little bit of disadvantage, I guess, depending how you put it. Another another advantage of not having a line is you're much more free. It may not seem like much. It didn't seem like much to me, but not being tethered to a line coming from my back or your side really seemed to like just free up. I this gameplay isn't nearly as good as it could have been. I think the hop up is all screwed up in this gun, and the BBs are just flying every which way they feel like going. And I think the compression rate kind of is not that good on this gun, so I'm shooting pretty low in the FPS range. But other than that, it feels pretty good not to run a line. I can hold the gun any way I want, and yes, I know that can be solved with just longer lines, but then a longer line just means more things to deal with. But you don't have that slight little restriction or pull that a line wants to give on your gun, and you don't have to worry about not pinching your line or pulling something out from your line, which is another big worry for some people, depending on how your gun is set up. One other thing is leaking. You don't have to worry about a leaking line. That has always been a big deal for me personally, is a leaking line or a leaking regulator or a leaking tank is always the worst. Especially if it's a tank or regulator, because sometimes you don't have that $100, $150 to drop on a tank or a regulator. You don't need to be spending that much, at that point. That is $150 is as much as a G&G Raider combat machine. And those come with a battery, I believe, and charger and a magazine and the gun. For a regulator or just a tank, it may not seem like a lot, but when you're in the middle of playing and all of a sudden you hear that hissing sound, for those who use HPA lines, I know the feeling. I've had a line go bad on me and a line just start leaking, and I've had a regulator go bad on me and just start leaking. And when you hear that hissing sound, you pretty much stop playing right then and there, because then that the pressure in your tank is going down as quickly as you can. So a lot of times you try to get out there as quickly as you can, and turn off your air and unplug it, and try to save as much air as you can so you don't have to pay for more air. And it just kind of stinks. I've seen several players who had that happen to them, and they pretty much had to end the day because they had all the guns they had were just powered by HPA, and they didn't have, once their tank went dead or something happened in their tank and their regulator went dead or their line or something like that happened, they pretty much just ended their day right then and there. I'm not saying that you shouldn't get an HPA rig at all. I think they're great. Just in the end, I think it's up to you whether you want to go HPA or not. Yes, the price for it is pretty steep price. A tank can run you around like $100, $180, and a good regulator is going to run you about $100 or $90, around that price range easily. A line will run you about $40 or so, give or take. And then you have to have the gun that is set up for HPA. I think that they're great systems. I loved using mine, But sometimes I like the freedom of not being tethered to something like that all the time, or having that little bit extra weight, which isn't annoying to me, but can be annoying to others. But yeah, that's going to be pretty much the end of this video. My new schedule will be every Monday I will be uploading a video. Yeah, I know I've been trying. I know I slipped up last week. I am very sorry for that. But I do hope that you all can forgive me. And every Monday, I will be coming out with a video. Whether it is either a video like this, gameplay, review, or a montage. I will try to figure out. Just leave a comment of what type of gameplay you want, or what review you would want on this channel, or anything like that, or just whatever you want for the next video. Leave it in the comments below, and I will see if I can do that. And if I can, I will definitely post up a video. I want this to be community driven. Whatever makes you happy makes me happy. Don't forget to leave a like, share, and subscribe. And I will see you all next Monday. You all have a wonderful day.